I can tell you, if I was 20 years younger, I'd sell my house and move out of town. Where the hell are you gonna move? The whole world's messed up.
Yeah.
And,
That's what they do for a living.
Oh, fire escapes. Oh. Thank you. You're welcome.
I don't know if they have faster map.
Yeah, Bob, really. And I share, or, yeah, I don't know. Did I hear? Charity select. We're doing good too. What's my? I think it's just like, it's P in this. Yeah.
It needs to happen.
Yeah, it does. Oh, did you get a chance to read the minutes that I sent of the March? Okay. We can approve those tonight then too, when we do the other side.
So that was of the. That was,
That's October 1st.
yeah, that's right.
Did you read the minutes of the performance review I wrote up for the October 1st?
Oh,
Special. Hopefully, not really a deep dive. Anything okay? I mean, you don't have to do a deep dive, they're good. I wrote. No, you did read them, because you added something to them. Yeah, that's what I mean.
You're gonna stay until we find somebody. Or you gonna stay.
I'm staying that.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
If I do the whole school, then I do.
Is there a full screen icon somewhere?
Yeah.
Or-
Guys? Did you get my email this afternoon?
Yeah, and I sent it back, because I said to the finance committee, so everybody could look at it.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm glad you did, thank you.
Yeah.
We're on Tessa's dog. Yeah. Imagine somebody picked it up. Or
Where's Tess and what happened to her dog?
my father's dog ran away.
Oh. She must not be happy.
wasn't very old, was it?
No,
Just a
they
puppy.
just drove to Georgia to get it a couple months ago.
You what?
They drove to Georgia to get it.
This one's already signed. By all of us, I think.
I don't know, I just see the post that they're looking
Well,
for.
Was it all the ones I brought or just this one?
Just that one.
Oh, okay.
That was the last one.
Okay, Paula left me a stack, so this must.
Double check the second signature page, because I just looked at the first and it had all three of our signatures. But no, it would be higher up.
Okay. Yeah, she must have just left.
But that's just the first signature page. Go to the second one and make sure we signed both of them. Maybe somebody missed the second.
And the October 1st.
Someone.
All in favor?
I. Oh, you got a vote.
So, public hearing, Don Bonner, Verizon representative poll hearing. South Union Street, place one, jointly owned pole number T.5S, E.56S on the west side of South Union Street at a point approximately 1,141 feet southerly from the center line of West Main Street. Said pole to be also located approximately 22 feet westerly across South Union Street from existing pole T.5 E.36. Reason, the request is made to correct an existing pole to tree guiding issue and to provide the distribution of intelligence and telecommunications and the transmission for high and low voltage equipment. Hello, how we doing?
Good.
So I talk.
Just talk.
They'll find you.
So I just came from the site, I'm just down there, it's a very old tree, it's already been mostly removed. And they need to get the rest of it out. So in order for them to do that, we're gonna need to take the guy wire off of it. And we need to have a new pole in there first, or the existing pole is there, okay? I did check the measurements, they are exactly what you see, 22 feet. I did measure to the center line of North Main. But it looks pretty much like what you see. And then
I have a question. What house is it near? Is it near Ann and Alan's house? Is it that tree?
22 South Union.
Yeah, that must be Ann and Alan's. It's a
Yes,
red
it
house.
is in
red
and
house
out,
on the
so,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's between 22 and 24. It's you can
And-
see the old dead tree.
when you put the pole,
yeah.
is it gonna be closer to the house?
No, it's gonna
Same
be
place?
pretty much where the tree is.
Okay.
There's two stakes there. One for the guy wire, the new guy wire for the new pole, and one for this new pole. So it'll be right where the tree is because it's directly across from the existing pole and it needs to be there to support it. So it will be there structurally to support it as well. So we even say this one.
Any other questions?
Another question, are we anticipating high tension wires? And that pole going all the way down to South Union Street eventually?
I can't speak to that, but I can tell you this pole it's called the stub pole. There's no wires intended to go off of it. The sole purpose of this pole is to support the other pole across the street so that doesn't get pulled.
I see.
They already did all the lines 10 years ago or so, there where they are.
So my understanding is the toll is already in. Charles.
This is just a guide pole. So the pole with the wires on is here. This is going across the street with just a wire to keep the pole from pulling away.
Right now, there's a wire attached to the old dead tree as supporting the pole.
And I have to take the dead tree out first before they can put the new pole in where the dead tree was.
You're gonna remove the stump.
Yeah, I believe the intention was, the reason we were called, somebody wants to get rid of that whole stuff. I'm not sure who.
I think so. I move we approve the full hearing or the placement of the new pole and guy wires as requested.
I second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
This is a motion.
Board of Assessors, Dupont, discussion about split tax rate.
In the first place, there's many misconceptions about this. In the first place, it's not gonna raise any more money for the town. That's just the way that is. If you want more money, you gotta go on everybody's taxes. And one of the other things, there's a lot of people that say, oh, if we do the split rate, the electric company's gonna pay a whole lot more in taxes. Do you think the electric company cares? Is it coming out of some CEO's pocket? No, you know who pays for it? You, and you, and you, and me, and them, and them. So the electric company don't care. And anybody that's going after them, it's a big misconception. Now, the other thing is, we had Gina run some,
I have one question.
go ahead.
The electric company doesn't get to selectively increase their rates to people in specific areas. They have to go to a utilities commission that approves that. So how does having a split tax rate, because many towns, how does that flow through directly to people in town?
In the first place, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and Gina, she gave me a whole bunch of papers and I forgot to bring. There was 2 towns in Western Mass that did the split tax rate. They went to their town meeting, got it all approved, everybody, oh boy, this is great. 3 months later, they were trying to back out of it because they realized they messed up. And the state says, no, you gotta go a whole year, put it on your next agenda, and then you can vote it back out.
But I think your explanation of why they made a mistake may not be the one that was really the problem, and I don't know those.
I don't either.
So I can't tell, but
But I do know the 2 towns that got it voted in, within 4 months, wanted to get it out of it, so there must have been a reason.
But a few years ago, all of the utility taxes or electric rates went up. They've been going up every summer, about every 6 months.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there is a causal connection between a split tax rate and higher electricity rates. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm saying, if your electricity bill goes up, I mean, if the taxes, like, the electric company owns every pole in town.
Right.
Every one of them is gonna go up a little bit. So say their taxes go up $10,000, who's gonna pay for it?
They are.
No.
No,
Mhm.
where does
Let's
that
go.
money come from, Judy?
Well, I know it comes from their revenues.
Right.
Do we pay them for the polls?
You
Comes
pay
out of our
everything. Have you ever looked at your electric bill?
Yes.
Have you seen how many little, there's like 10, 12 little, there's a delivery
But
charge.
that's not, that doesn't accrue directly to one population. It accrues to the entire state population. That's what the utility commission does. The utility commission looks at their aggregate expenses for all of these things. So right now, when our rates go up, it could well be because somebody else increased their tax rate. And, you know, we might as well be getting some of the taxes too, because I'm sure that our tax rate increase would be so small that it would not affect the statewide aggregate of expenses that Eversource incurs.
Well, I
It's
think
gonna
you
be
should-
not a spit in the ocean.
I would like to have you come to our meeting, so, because I don't have all this in my head, Gina does.
All right,
And she gave me some spreadsheets that I just didn't bring.
okay.
But the point is, if like a business like Ed's, she ran some little queries, whatever, you know. Ed's taxes are gonna go up over $600 if the split tax rate goes through. So you have a few John Q homeowners who are gonna go down a little tiny bit. But like Mr. Tire, Eddie's, mine, all the businesses are gonna go up 29%. So I was talking to one of the businesses in town, not gonna mention her name, he goes, you know what? I don't care, I'm just gonna put a $50 charge on everybody's bill. Which you basically have to, his taxes are gonna skyrocket. Now, the other thing, God, I wish I brought my paperwork. Oh,
What's the tax rate currently for businesses?
it's like
It's the same.
20,
Same,
it's
21.
the same for everybody.
2182 or
No, it's
28.
2143.
Whatever, it's 21.
Last year, and then this year, it's like 2128.
Yes,
So
it is the
it would
same,
go from
it's the
21,
it's the same,
48 to
no,
29?
no, what it's.
For a business.
Is where you charge a higher percentage taxes. The tax rate on businesses goes up, and that lowers the tax rate on the residential
I
properties.
understand that.
Okay, so
I'm just
that's-
wondering how much.
Well, John Q homeowners is gonna go down maybe 1%, because there's a whole lot of them. There's very few businesses, a business like Ed's,
This
it's
is
gonna-
almost 8% increase?
it's gonna be 9%, cause a business will be paying like over 29%.
No, $29,
No.
No,
29%?
Exactly.
It's gonna go up. Well, yeah, I'm sorry,
The lower rate will go
$29,
up.
I'm sorry.
I think what we need to do is maybe table this debate. Until we have, some double blind, you know, anonymized examples. Take like, you know, 8 or 10 homes in town across a range of electricity usage. And 8 or 9 businesses in town across sectors. And take out the names so the innocent are protected.
Yeah.
And then run the numbers and see what it actually works out to. I don't think we're gonna be able to, you know, wrestle this to the ground until we have the actual numbers to look.
Well, we can do that.
There are exemptions. I don't know the law, I don't know the regulation, but what I've read, small businesses like Ed's and Roberta's and Claude's could be exempted by a town meeting vote. It's businesses with 10 or less people. Well, this is in the law, so you can look at it too. Or businesses, with property that is worth $1 million or less, and you can exempt those. There's other exemptions that I read. for, low-income people and elderly, but we've never seen the regulations. All we're going on is hearsay. What Claude heard from Gina, I would like to see the figures on paper. I would like to see the regulations and the rules so that we can look at them to make sure that they're being read right and interpreted right.
What were you told? If you wanna see all these figures, we have a meeting the first and third Monday of every month. The first and third. Nobody on the finance committee has ever came up to us and asked for this information. It's all public information. Do you want me to mail it to you? Oh, that's not my job. It's not Gina's job. We asked her to stop.
Hi, Dalila Madison Almquist, brand new member on the Finance Committee. I'm happy to join the next Board of Assessors meeting to learn more about how you all are talking about it. I'm also curious for the information that Bob asked for, just to understand the regulations better. And I mean, I don't even know who all of the businesses are in town. I try to start
Do you have a
making a
list of the
list.
businesses?
Yeah, it'd be great to have that
What?
understanding. I'd love a little bit more information, and Claude, I'd love to come to the
First
meeting.
and third Mondays, we're there from 6, I think, until 8.
So that's next Monday, you're saying? Will you be talking about the split tax rate then? And
Yeah, it would have been yesterday.
Yeah, we
Third?
had a meeting yesterday.
Yesterday.
Oh,
was
that's the first Monday,
So 2
so,
weeks from
2
yesterday,
weeks.
which is the 21st.
so the 21st, you're saying you have a meeting that day?
Yes,
Okay, and you all are, will have this information that like Bob is asking for and kind of, great. So are you all responsible the same way that the, other committees are to post ahead of time? So will we have chance to like,
It'll be
look
on
at
the
this
town
information?
calendar. Location,
well, we post
Location.
all of our meetings.
yeah,
Yeah.
You have to post them
yeah,
3 days.
location,
Right.
agenda and venue.
And the materials, like all of this stuff, so, cause I think it's hard for me to just understand by just hearing some of the numbers, I'd love to see. Some of the details, like what, what are the double blind, like you said, what are the residences, how are their taxes impacted, like, I'd love to see the numbers, as they've been popping.
Yeah, I did have a
calculated.
copy of that, I just forgot to bring it, so.
Would you make a
Awesome.
copy for Delilah before he comes to your meeting?
Yeah,
And it looks like, yeah, the whole finance, maybe our whole finance team could try to, or many of us could try to make it. Okay, awesome.
And as far as businesses goes, I mean, there's all the ones that are registered businesses, but there are also people that work from home that is not.
Right, that's-
As a business.
That's
was
where it's
my
gonna
next
run into some
point.
issues, because some people are gonna run their business from their house on Zoom or whatever they do, but they're not gonna be taxed on their business. Cause it's not really a registered business now.
it should.
It should, but we gotta figure that stuff out.
But if it doesn't have 10 employees, it can be exempted anyway.
But I have a list that I've started, there's over 49 businesses in this town,
Wow.
49. Little John Q homeowner businesses, they're not paying any taxes, they're getting away with it. It's not right.
I, as a finance committee member, agree. What jumped out of the town information was that Verizon accounts for 25% of our taxes assessed base. The Swift River portion, which is in Plainfield rather than Covington, accounts for another 5%. We're not talking, and those are two large for-profit businesses that in the aggregate make up 30% of the tax base. And so I think it behooves us to do the double blind.
Well, in the analysis of how much can you raise the business taxes before you.
Check the business out.
Well, that and how much can you lower the individual taxes before you reach the threshold at which you drive the businesses out?
Roberta Woolbridge, 1 Pleasant Street. One thing that seems to be kind of mulling around here is we're using the word business to talk about like the value of a company run, but what we're really talking about is taxing the real estate. Correct, just the real estate. No. Did somebody say no? So,
Sam.
yeah, so as far as I understood, like even, for example, my tax card has APR, 61A, a commercial building, a residence, ag building, so I get all this different
These different
mashup
categories.
of things. And so I would expect that the new tax rate is just going to keep a lot of things the same, but then maybe tax the auto shop square footage and maybe change the 61A. So, I mean, sometimes I think we have a misunderstood, we're talking about businesses, and if you run a business out of a home office, that maybe that footprint of that home office needs a higher tax rate for that square footage out of the residence, but again, a lot of our businesses in town, the concern for most people is that unlike East Hampton or Springfield or something, our businesses are not brick and mortar on a street corner, they are attached to our residents, so we're all feeling like, oh my gosh, they're gonna tax our personal property, but I would guess that we're gonna find a way to narrow this down and make sure it doesn't affect anything besides maybe the square footage of actual operations in real estate. But real estate versus business on paper, yeah, real estate,
I think we need a deeper dive analysis.
Yeah.
We can't just go,
What Roberta is saying is, if you were gonna do that, then you'd have to have, if you got a whole bunch of land and your business is on 1 acre, that would have to have its own address, or it would have to be the business.
it would be its own parcel and. it would
well,
have
well,
to be its own
61A does
function.
that, 61A does it, 57 acres, 3 is residential, so I get taxed residential on the 3 acres around
Yeah.
the home. And the rest goes into the 61A, so my guess is to be similar, we'd have to make sure, yeah, I'm not gonna pay commercial business tax on my ag land. I'm gonna pay it on whatever that minimum square footage is around that auto shop, so it includes the parking lot and the driveway and.
It's
And
not
your
like a
business might be
revenue
exempt.
tax.
Huh?
It's a
Your
farm.
business
Well, yeah,
might
and
be
some of these
exempt.
businesses
And
might
we
be
don't know that
exempt
yet.
by value and certainly employees, I think most of these businesses we're talking about, 10 employees is more than even. Hilton would have. But it would include Eversource, these bigger players, so I mean, there's just a lot of misunderstandings about business versus the real estate part.
Right, and the biggest thing. Very few people know this, but if you do the split tax rate, anyone that has land in 61 forestry, 61 agricultural, your
Exactly.
recreation, any 61 is gonna become commercial. You're gonna be paying a higher rate.
Wait,
So you're gonna still get the discount because you're a farm, but like, say right now, backland is worth $1,500 an acre. I don't know the exact figures. But now if this goes through, what is, say 10%, it's gonna go up, I can't even do the math. But your land value is gonna go up on every acre of chapter 61 land in town.
I don't think that's right.
I know it is, because I've got the paper. I wish I would have brought it, because that's one of the main papers I should have brought.
I wanna get our
So
lawyers.
I would like to have you, please, come to our next meeting. We've got all the paperwork right there. It's in black and white. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't 100% sure of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Now, the only thing we could do, which I'm dead set against, is you can do this tax exempt thing they're talking about for businesses. Has it ever been voted in? No, it's not part of our job.
We
We
could
would have to.
just do a split tax rate until it goes to town meeting anyway.
I know that, what I'm saying,
Well, we need,
Gina's gonna spend a lot of time doing this. She's got important shit to do, rather than just try to prove this is wrong. But if that's what you want me to do, I will call her up tomorrow. She'll get all the paperwork. When you come to our next meeting, she will have it there and she can explain it to you. She knows this stuff, I don't, so.
From what I was able to glean from the Massachusetts general law online, which I might add is an instant cure for narcolepsy. I mean, for insomnia. You start reading that stuff and you'll go to sleep.
It
with
causes narcolepsy.
instant narcolepsy. But if there was a salient sentence that said, a select board or the mayor, depending upon what kind of municipality, can vote to exempt businesses with less than 10 employees certified by the State Department of Labor and with less than $1 million of assessed valuation. So I think that bears investigation, because that would probably cover most of the.
46 of the 40 or 47 of 49 businesses.
So what are we gonna do with all the businesses in town that aren't registered? Everybody, like, say you got a great big house and you're running a computer, you work at home on your computer.
Why are you worried about that?
Because it's not fair. You're gonna, my taxes are gonna go up. Eddie's are gonna go up, because we own a business. All these John Q homeowners that run their business out of their house, they're supposed to take 25%.
That's what we're saying. Do you employ 10 people?
No,
But it doesn't matter.
Then it doesn't matter, because the select board can vote to exempt any businesses that employ 10 or fewer people. And so we vote to exempt those. It's only the big businesses.
it's still not right. You're going after the big businesses. And who pays the bills for big businesses? Like, say you go to, Jamie and Roberta's. Do you think all that extra tax money is gonna come out of their profit? They're gonna take them?
Employ 10 people, they'd be exempted too.
Eversource raised our rates between 20 and 25% last year, and we hadn't done this yet. I mean, this
It's
Eversource
gonna go up
will
every.
do
There
what
is no
Eversource does.
direct connection
Rounding error.
our local electricity rate and the taxes that this tiny little town charges Eversource. None, zero. It is a completely trivial thing to Eversource, given the size of their revenues and the size of the company. Trust me on this one. I really do know this.
Well, it will affect our electric bill, it just won't be in an equal. Yeah, we all share the burden.
But that's
It's just gonna
happening
be spread out.
anyway.
It's
It means
happening.
that other people in Massachusetts will be paying to subsidize our
Yeah.
revenues.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Sure. If you have the state rates the local towns,
Oh.
small towns.
Tough language.
Sorry.
I would just say that it sounds like this is a problem with Eversource, right? So we should be complaining to Eversource. We still need to get our funds, but we
It's
should.
just taxes in general.
Yeah.
Well, or,
No, we should be
Ever-
complaining to the Utilities Commission who has
there
to
there you
approve
have it.
every single
Right?
rate increase that they
There it
get.
is.
It's
There's
just
that.
legal extortion anyway, so,
I mean, what Eversource is doing.
no, just taxes in general.
I thought that there had been a study done about the split tax rate and exactly how it worked and how it.
But
I think-
when,
I don't know, I thought I had heard about it.
We need
There might
more
be
information on all of it.
yeah,
That
Agreed.
has done
this
this,
is kind of a circular
and,
discussion.
yeah, we could just
Well,
sort of
if
get
you
the
come up
numbers.
at our next meeting, oh, I'm sorry, it means it.
Or somebody from your board comes to a meeting with a bunch of
Well, we,
paperwork.
Finance committee meetings too.
I
which
would
are
not
all
go to
those-
finance committee,
But
they're just. No, I would like
they're
them.
all sitting here.
Why won't anybody? Meeting. We'll have,
Next meeting.
we'll have
David
Gina
will.
explain it to you.
How about if the whole finance committee comes to the next board of assessors?
We've invited them several times. For the last
Oh,
3 or 4 months, Gina sent them in emails, they never even had the courtesy to.
I never got a single email.
I never
from
got-
Jackie.
I never got.
The finance committee.
This is.
Okay, so that's the topic, so we have some.
We've asked her to-
More information on it.
Bob, we're all coming to the next meeting.
Yeah, we'll be there.
I know.
We'll be there.
Monday, 21st of
Yeah.
October. Be there.
And she'll have all the paperwork.
Right?
What time?
6 to 8.
7 o'clock.
I'll look
Oh,
at it.
7, okay.
So,
Well,
The whole select board.
no, it's not the select board, this is the finance
I
committee.
know, I mean.
Wait, no, only one of the select board can attend another meeting, because then that would have to be, well, no, it's a public meeting.
Yeah, it's a public meeting.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know.
Everybody can go.
As a
but she'll
resident,
have all,
not a select board member.
all the information.
So long as it's a public meeting, we can talk.
And I will tell you what, if you would like, You pick out 10 names of anybody in town, I'll have her run the query, and we'll see how it's gonna affect their taxes, if you want.
Well, we
We'll
want
we'll
to
keep the names out.
I don't care, use mine, mine has every kind of thing from soup to nuts on it.
She's got
Got it all.
she's got 61.
Yeah, I think there's 5
You
or
should-
6 parcels.
You should
They're
find
all,
somebody
like, from the
with a big chunk of 61 land, because that's gonna go up seriously.
Well, I'll see if Twitter would be willing to do that.
I'll just have her pick somebody out with a big, like say over 30 acres of chapter 61.
Buddha has like 80.
So, there we go.
Exactly.
So then she'll figure out how it's gonna affect and how much it is now. And if we do the split rate, what it's gonna go up and how it's gonna affect it and how much they're back. So I did have her do Ed's, which he's probably the most common business in town.
Well,
You throw in this mixed head?
If you exempted,
22.
okay, on to the next topic.
Yeah.
KP Law payment of $170.05.
I move that we pay the law bill, the lawyer bill.
I seconded.
All in favor?
I,
Broom Street, the host community agreement for 27 Broom Street is up for renewal. And we haven't seen any payment for what they owe. So I say we do not renew their.
well, and they're in arrears on their property taxes as well. They're in arrears on their property taxes. They made one payment in 3 or 4 years against their host community agreement.
They
And then-
haven't hired a single local person.
Right, and in fairness, I will say that the Cannabis Commission changed the rules after we approved the first host community agreement, and that payment was sort of eliminated from possibility because of the change in their rules. You had to be able, you could only ask in a host community agreement that the business pay the documentable direct expenses to the town of their presence in the town. So if the cops had to make 10 trips to their site for whatever reason that they didn't have to make previously, you could charge for the police time. But you had to have paperwork and documentation, and as we all know, that's challenging in this town
But
sometimes.
theirs was written up as more of a donation.
Theirs was written up as more of a donation, and you can accept donations. So like with the Grant Street property, where she voluntarily wanted to give back a certain percentage of her profits. Then we could accept that, but we can't require that it be paid in order to renew the host community agreement. But there are enough other things that are legally out of whack, like the big one being their property taxes, because that's multiple tens of thousands of dollars that they have not paid, and I don't think we should be renewing a host community agreement for, well, to use the word, scuffle.
Has anyone spoken to them?
Oh, many times.
And nobody's seen them.
And our lawyers have talked to their lawyers, and their lawyers are claiming insolvency, so I kind of wonder why it is. that they want to renew their host community agreement? I would think they'd want to sell the property, but they can't sell the property until they pay the property taxes. They will transfer title if you aren't current on taxes.
What's the effect of the town if they don't renew, if you don't renew their agreement?
They can no longer operate.
Oh,
Because the Cannabis Commission will not approve their certification if they don't have a valid renewed host community agreement.
And I think that they're fully aware of this discussion and they're not here tonight.
Hey.
That says a lot.
David Munson, so this, so I understand the background of this. They are growing, right?
Yes,
And so they are wholesalers, for lack of a better term.
right.
Given the number of cannabis dispensaries all over northwestern Massachusetts, how can they be insolvent?
Well, because the state of Massachusetts approved too many cannabis growers. And so there is more supply than there is.
The market's flooded. and they've been closing everywhere.
The retail stores have been closed,
Yeah.
so it's probably suppliers behind us.
They overestimated the demand, both at the retail level and also at the wholesale level.
Well, the hemp market lasted about 3 months, and then it was flooded, then it was over.
That's the what there is.
Oh,
It's a lot of money fighting.
but it's left a lot of, not just in this town, property owners left with, business shut down, they got left, what was left, and, no money coming in, and it's not too good.
I mean, folks, Plainfield, we're going to use that. Actors weren't paying on business, could not be using license.
He's probably still.
Well, that's what it says, that this is from their lawyer, I believe. The CCC has informed us that it will not renew the license without an post community agreement executed by both the town and the licensee. The business currently remains open solely due to a temporary administrative extension approved by the CCC. I know how challenging it is to respond to the many mandates put on a small town by the state. If it is helpful, I've attached a form of the HCA they recently approved. I apologize for its length, but a lot of it is mandated by the CCC, even though it's not relevant to the situation in Plainfield. Well, we got this on September 26th. And host community agreements are pretty complex. And have a lot of nuance in them, and you have to read them, and we have not yet given it to our lawyers. We kind of want them to pay their property taxes before we renegotiate the host community agreement. We think that that's the first thing I have to do.
Yes, I was gonna suggest, how much are they in arrears, and that's sort of
I don't know the exact number, but it's like $60,000 or $70,000.
that
They
might,
haven't paid it for like 2 or 3 years.
that might be a good job. I agree with you.
It's a lot of money.
You wanna say something, Julia?
Yeah, Delila Madison on this Summit Street. What I think I heard Ed say is that if someone was still not paid up on their taxes, if a business wasn't paid up on taxes, you could take away their business license. Where the host agreement sounds separate to me, right?
It's basically the same thing, because
Oh, it's the same.
It's similar.
yeah, it's analogous. The host community agreement, if somebody wants to start a cannabis operation, the first thing you have to do before the Cannabis Commission will even consider your business plan is you have to negotiate a host community agreement with the town. And once you've got that, then there are some other hoops you have to jump through, and then the Cannabis Commission will certify your business, and you can begin operating.
So your business license is, the host agreement is your business license.
Pretty much.
The host agreement in tandem with the certification of Cannabis Commission. You need
Okay.
both.
And the lady on Grand Street's paid all her stuff, she hasn't even grown one plant yet.
Yeah, they keep making her jump through more hoops, but she's current on her taxes and she's been making contributions to the town. Which business do we want to keep?
The one that pays the town.
Yes.
Yes. No, I know, I have to do it every year.
Yeah.
Send to the state, I pay my taxes when I do my license,
But I think
everything. Sandy?
Santa Maria, Oak Street, I think what I'm hearing, I may be wrong. The host agreement, you cannot hold the license because they haven't paid that. But the town taxes is a different.
Town taxes is different. That's the property taxes on the land that they operate on. But the host community agreement is a feature that I've only ever heard of with reference to cannabis operations, because I believe it's because it was so controversial when it was first approved. And so when they created the Cannabis Commission, they said, you have to make sure that the community that you're gonna be operating in is willing to have you there, basically. And you can't cherry pick. The towns cannot, I don't think, I'm dragging up memories from the planning board. The town cannot refuse a business for no reason. You can't refuse a business. You can't say, we'll only have wholesale, but we won't have retail. You either are approving of the presence of a cannabis business in your town or not. They do have to give you, they have to get a special permit, that's another thing. And I mean, I would imagine that, I think the planning board would probably not be inclined to support a special permit for a business who was badly in arrears on their property taxes. Call me crazy, it's a guess, but, so I think that there are enough things here that we need to go back to this lawyer and say, are they going to pay their property taxes before we, sign this host community agreement? And by the way, we want another X amount of time because we've got to have this reviewed by our lawyers. Yeah, we're talking to their lawyers.
And I also think that we should look over the past post community.
We have it in this week's packet.
Okay, because there were a lot of conditions,
But that one's invalid because the rules changed between when that one was made and the
They
new
keep changing
rule.
the rules
The
in favor
Cannabis
of the
Commission keeps changing
adult
rules.
facility.
So
well, the rules that they were supposed to hire local people hasn't changed. And they have at least, I think, more than 10 employees. And I think they've also started other things like, kitchen, they're not just growing, they're.
I haven't seen them for a couple of years.
I haven't been over there either. You clearly have. Well, I think there's enough question about all of
When I was
this.
looking for work,
I think there's enough question about all of this that I move that we respond to the lawyer that we have a number of reservations and we would be happy to pursue the conversation further, but we're not signing the host community agreement, they said, at this point in time, because there are too many other things that have to be resolved first.
I agree.
That's my motion. Somebody has to say.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Miscellaneous mail and meeting notices. Email from Sally and Bob's Silverberg regarding River Road Bridge. I know Mark was going down to look at it and assess what he can do to help support the bridge. I mean, I don't know all the detail on it. I don't know if Mark responded to Sally and Bob. No.
We haven't heard.
He is making his way around town and, you know, there's 3 guys, so.
No, we just want to know what the status is, what can go over, and what can't. Right now, South Union Street's not plowed, so it's the only access. That bridge for 4 properties that reside in the road.
Well,
We talked about this.
the other day,
Yeah,
if they're gonna do the logging operation, they're either gonna they're gonna be logging somewhere down there this
Yes,
winter.
a
If,
lot.
They're either gonna put steel plates on the bridge or mats or something to help with the weight, and they're gonna plow the road all the way through.
Okay,
That's the plan anyways.
and the logging trucks would only be able to drive down to the site
And then
empty.
come up
And
south.
then they would have to come up South Union once they were loaded.
Well, that's what they
with
did
this.
last year.
Did they really?
But they're gonna we're gonna come up with something, so they sign a thing, if they destroy the road, they're shut down and they have to cover the cost of fixing the road.
KP Law is gonna be making a lot of money off.
It's Dave Lashway's trucking, I mean, he has a nice truck, he keeps it nice, and he's not gonna do stuff that's gonna ruin his equipment either,
No.
so.
it's just that South Union hasn't been plowed the last couple of years.
Right, cause them other people were gone for the winter, I believe.
Right,
Plan is this year is to plow it all the way through, so,
Yeah,
I thought it was to plow it up until the point of where they were gonna be bringing.
but he has to, that's River Road, but South Union, because that's their egress, they have to plow the whole thing of South Union.
and if we have a normal winter and it freezes, it'll be all good, so. and
Skeptical, huh?
Well,
I lived here 50 years, I have faith in your words.
Yeah. Well,
Mark's-
Look out, what can I do?
he's all over it. He was the one that told us about it.
yeah, he gave us information at our meeting the other day, and, He's planning on plowing the road anyways, because there's no sense to plow all the way down and turn around, you know, on both spots, just plow right around and up through. And since he's repaired South Union, so it's wide enough for two vehicles, that you can push some snow somewhere too, so. That's all I know at the moment, but if you have any questions too, we can email Mark direct.
Well, I just want to know what the status was.
Or if you- or if you-
There's 4 properties on the road and they need fuel oil, propane and everything
Right.
else, so we want.
Um.
I'm not gonna see anyone in the river.
We hope not.
Me too.
I know the bridge is, there's a plan for that, but it's long term,
Yeah.
and I think
that
you have to get the state involved. Cause there really is no, I don't know, Walt put some kind of weight restriction on it, but I can't remember what it was. There's no signs down.
No, there will be signs.
Are there now?
Yeah, it's outside.
Yeah, which is confusing because one of this, it's 3 vehicles and the one on the bottom is a big tractor trailer.
Right, but it has to do with wheels and spread out.
Yeah.
So that's how they do it, like the small truck is this much, cause it's short and all the weight's on the
Right.
bridge, where a bigger truck's longer. Spreads the weight out over the bridge more equally, so the weight limits change.
But it's logging trucks so long, so I guess I'm confused what the difference.
Cause not all the weight's on the bridge at once, it's some on the ground, some on the bridge.
You don't understand.
They can only go down empty.
Yeah, they're only gonna go over
They
that bridge.
can't go over that bridge with
Loaded.
a load of logs. They have to go up South Union, and if you see them going over that bridge,
Okay.
let me know, I'm the liaison to the police department.
Well, they'll just get fined and, you know,
Right back South Union Street, in the forester on this project, and yeah, I talked to David about this, no logs, actually going over that bridge.
yeah,
Um,
well, not loaded anyways, you
Yeah,
go down over it empty, so.
right, yeah. And I have a question about that contract, for repairs.
It hasn't been
Drafted, yeah,
drafted yet, but we're gonna get one made up and, cause
for all of our roads.
yeah, because Eversource has destroyed so many roads, we need something to, but they're federally funded, you know, that money doesn't matter.
To them anyway.
Right.
It matters to us.
So it's just like a waiver, you know, type of thing to be responsible if you know, it's mud season and you keep trucking, you know all about that stuff.
Yeah.
My father's a logger, and I grew up doing it, and it's just, sometimes it gets messy, I mean, unless you stop for a while,
Right.
so. Other than that, any other questions?
It's good news, glad to hear.
Yeah.
And a lot of white pine that need to get cut before they die.
Almost all the trees are dying.
Yeah.
Make a
Thank you.
motion to adjourn,
I move we adjourn.
all in favor?
I.
Aye. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Even up to.